Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where I share with you headlines from my news feed and also my thoughts, ideas, and perspectives about those headlines. It's not news, it's not a deep, in depth analysis of any particular news story. It's just so that we can get an overview. Hey, welcome on the chat. So that we can get an overview of what's going on in the world and try to process it in a way that makes some kind of sense for us. Um, like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. It seems like it's something else, but do all of them things that you do that help us to get to 1,000 because we're working on our first 1,000 charter subscribers. Yay! All right. So, what's new and good with you? What's exciting? What's going on? What's your good news? Share your good news, drop it in the comments and all of that other good stuff. Thank you for the like. Um, New and good with you personally, new and good with your family, new and good with your community, and new and good in the world. What's going on? All right. Habaragani. Habaragani is the segment where we talk about one of the Kwanzaa principles. Hey, Rowdy Chica, long time no see, girly. Good to see you. We talk about one of the Kwanzaa principles. We're not currently looping through one principle a day. I think that we're still on unity. Hey fam, what's up, Miss Sonia C's? So I think we're still on Umoja. We're reading an essay on Umoja, which is unity, from endarkenment.com. They have a discussion about the Kwanzaa principles on that site. So I think we were on paragraph 3. Yeah. Oh, I think we were on paragraph 2, so we're on paragraph 3 now. No, we were on 3. Okay, so the next one is 4. Unity as principle and practice begins in the family, but presupposes value orientation of each member. Adults and children must respect and approach. Oh, just in a different car. Adults and children. Sonia C says she misses the gray. I'm in black now. I've been in this one before though. Adults and children must respect and approach unity as a moral principle of family and community, not simply a political slogan. Not just something we talk about, but something that we be about. It's loud. Is that a train? Oh, my hair. Busy with school and work. No, it's gray. That's just sun hitting it. I hadn't done nothing with my hair, but let it grow. As principle and practice, this means principled and harmonious living with brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, sharing and acting in unison. It means avoidance of conflict. Don't be out here trying to get into it with people. Avoid the conflict. Avoidance of conflict and quick, willing, and principled resolution when it occurs. So if something happened and we in a conflict, let's see how quickly we can resolve this in a dignified and principled way. It means a yielding and gentleness of exchange as taught in the sacred Huisa 33. I have no harmonious living at the present time, says Sonia C's. Well, all prayers for harmonious living, increasing moment by moment, second by second, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, year by year. May the harmony just continue to grow and increase. The family must reject harshness and practice gentleness, stress cooperation, and avoid conflict, and be very attentive to things that would divide or create differences negative to togetherness. So we got to be kind and gentle to each other. Shoot, it's hard. Yeah, prayers, sis, prayers. It's hard out here for it can be very challenging out here for Black folks. So we want to be gentle with ourselves and gentle with one another and compassionate, and just, yeah. So okay, so that's good. Okay, so yeah, Habaragani for pimps. So when I say Habaragani, which means something like, what's the word? Today we're still saying Umoja, 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 which is unity. Umoja. Hey, Day Day, how you doing? Um, okay, so let's see what the Buddha is saying today, or whatever, whenever he said it. He ain't say it today. Um, though being well to do, not to support mother and father who are old and past their youth, this is a cause of one's downfall. I need to unite my hand with some money. You know, that's right. Now I'm open and receptive to all uniting of my hand with money. Thank you for the likes. I love getting checks in the mail. I love getting money in my hand. It is wonderful and beautiful. I'm open and receptive. Just money come. I love you. um So it's saying, if you have the resources and you're not taking care of your parents, even though they old and need help, this is gonna cause your downfall. So okay, I can see that. Okay, so let's jump right into the news feed and see what going on. How was everybody's weekend? It's Monday, right? Let's jump into the news feed. Let us proceed with the news feed. I'm sitting on a pillow and it slips sliding around. Golden State killer suspect charged with 13th murder. So I think this person was like active in California in like maybe the 70s. I'm not really clear, but it's like an old, oh, I had a horrible migraine. I'm sorry to hear that. Them headaches ain't nothing to play around with. And like when I get them migraines, they go to my stomach. And that's I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So prayers out to you, Day Day, for healing, and just healing and peace and rest for your body. Oh, I vomit too. Yeah, I get nauseous. It's not fun. But yeah, you know, prayers out, prayers out. So this Golden State person was active some time ago. Now they didn't got this guy. I think he like 73 years old, and I think they said he was a former cop. But this particular story, the last person that they're charging him with, it was a father who they say the man came into the house, got the girl. The father looked out the window and saw his daughter being taken out of the house with the man. He ran downstairs like, what's going on? The guy pushed the murderer or kidnapper to be, pushed the girl down and then shot the father twice. And I think that he made his transition. So, I mean, of all the ways to go, I like, you know, I don't want any, you know, we all have to make our transition, but I don't want anybody to make their transition violently. But it's always good, I think, when you make your transition and it's in the process of standing for something rather than making your transition over some bullshit. Now, if you just make it peacefully in bed, you know, that's cool. But if you're going to be fighting over something, let it be heroic. Yes, Miss Sonia, let it be heroic. Let it be for your child. Let, you know, so, you know, prayers out to that family. And you know, the white man who was serial killing the people, Paris, balks at the horrible eco-friendly public urinals. So I guess this is the thing. So I guess the men are peeing all over the street, and so they have these things. They're like, it's like this square, and I guess you put your penis inside of a hole and you pee, but it's not like covered up or anything. It's just like all out in the open. So like you can't see the penis, but you standing there next to the thing with your penis in the hole. And they're like, well, the men are peeing all over the street anyway, so we have to do something. Now they're eco-friendly because they have hay or something in them. And then after the men pee in them, they take them to the park or something and use them for compost. But, you know, I kind of feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily an advantage, but you know, men can and do and will pee on the street, and women for the most part don't. I came in on a really weird part. Hey, I know I'm talking about the public urinals. So it's kind of like, so now they're facilitating, you know, more services and more opportunities for men, but Why are they peeing all when people get drunk, when they don't have anywhere to go, when the men get drunk and don't have anywhere to go? It's rare to see women use just trifling. It's rare to see women using the bathroom in public. I don't know why they did, but anyway, the people are complaining because they're like, this is like a tourist corridor, and we got men standing here with their penises and boxes peeing. Like, this is not a cute look. This is not gay Paris. This is some bullshitty, or whatever. So that's what's going on in Paris. How the new chairman of National Society of Black Engineers wants to diversify STEM. Oops, I misread it. It says how the new chairwoman, hey Ayapo, the French just legalized no age consent for sex. Get out of here. How the new chairwoman of the National Society of Black Engineers wants to diversify STEM. I wonder how old the National Society of Black Engineers is and how many women have been in leadership in the organization. It's nice to see a woman in leadership, to me, always. Or I don't know who she is, but just assuming she a good sister, it's nice to see some parity, since basically half the people are women. It's good when you see some representation. But I don't really know much about the National Society of Black Engineers. They had a NSBE chapter at my college, but I wasn't involved with it. But I knew people who were, but not enough to know anything about it. So that's coming off of Moguldom if you want to read more about it. Police admit to framing a black man. This is in Not News or in We're So Shocked. NSBE 1975. Oh, is that when they were founded? Okay. So they about 40, 45, 50, 40, 50 years old. Ayapo is here. Ayapo is here. Is it party time? So police admit, and I just want to pause there because some people think of the police as robbers. So police admit, it just seems like, wow, if the police got to admitting, what things could they admit to? It seemed like it's a lot of things that the police could admit to. Okay, so that's okay. Police admit to framing a black man who did 5 years in jail and then was deported back to Haiti. That's coming off of the Griot if you want to read that story. MoviePass is enrolling some former subscribers into its new plan even after they canceled, and is spitting out an error message when they try and cancel again. Now, I told you I was watching. I had my eyes on MoviePass, but I didn't give them no credit card information. I was just watching. So now the people who were like, oh, MoviePass, and then they signed up, and then they like, I don't like MoviePass, I'm going to cancel. Now MoviePass is re-enrolling them in stuff that they canceled out of. And that's also why, now I was thinking I would have like one permanent temporary card that I could use for stuff like that. But then it's kind of so that they couldn't mess up my real card. But then it's like if I was using that temporary card for something, a permanent temporary card for something else that did not include MoviePass, which I had already canceled, and then they're taking $10 a month out of my, or just randomly take $10 a month out, and maybe I put in exactly how much I needed to handle the business that I wanted to handle on my temporary credit card, and then they take it, then that's going to mess up my stuff. A mess. A mess. So that's what they say over on Feed Proxy. These vintage photos of Julia Child in the kitchen will inspire you to cook. You know what? I did see that movie Julie and Julia. And I like to cook, but it just kind of makes me think about what inspires somebody to cook. Like, when we stop cooking, when we start cooking, do you cook? They said at the time of Julia Child's, most people were eating their food out of cans. And so for her to be cooking, you see how the light is hitting right there? It's like it make it look like I got something. Most people were eating their food out of cans. And so it was like for people to be preparing food and cooking, she inspired a whole movement. And so I think now, I don't know if most people do eat out for the most part for like most of their meals, but that's kind of the impression I have. Like, do you cook? Are what inspires you to cook? Have you gotten out of the habit of cooking? Or sup, hun? Rashida Libra. Rashida Libra. Yeah. I think it's familiar. Ooh, what's up, hon? What's up? So what inspires you to cook? And go cook. Prepare your food. Get as many of your ingredients. I was inspired to cook by loss of a loved one. I had to care for her children. I really impressed myself. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Get as much of your food unprocessed as possible. You forgot me already. I know I'm a mess. Just forgive me. Blame it on my head, not my heart. Because I'm like, this looked familiar. I was just about to say, I never saw you before. Then I was like, this name looks familiar. Rashida Libra. I hate cooking though. Yeah, I like cooking. I don't like the cleaning and the prep, but I do like cooking. And I like I kind of like knowing exactly what's in my food because I'm very suspicious and I don't trust the people out here, the corporations out here, and what they're feeding me and telling me it's food. um Adidas, eat the cheese stick. Does anybody eat cheese sticks? Those mozzarella sticks and stuff? I was at an event and I got one the other day. I also don't like waiting for food. Oh, yeah. I meant to put the crock pot on this morning with some beans that we're going to cook all day, but I have no choice. With some beans that we're going to cook all day, but I didn't do that. But I really love my crock pot. I love when I prepare stuff in advance and then I kind of like have it and I can like just quickly assemble kind of what I already have going. I love roasted vegetables. I'm like so in love with roasted vegetables. Today, I think I'm going to make some roasted vegetables and couscous. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking that I'm going to make, hey, Information Man Show. I'm thinking roasted vegetables because I had some roasted vegetables last night and they were pretty good. And I was like, oh, they would be really good over pasta. But I got some whole wheat couscous. I like leftovers though. Oh, I love leftovers. A lot of stuff, most stuff, it gets better with time. When it marinates and it tastes a little better. But yeah, prepare as much as possible. Prepare your own food. If you're not preparing food, get stuff like apples and oranges and bananas that's like minimally, nunally processed. Um, so Adidas is now making city specific beans taste better. Beans taste better. Chili tastes better. Greens taste better. Most soups on stews taste better. Adidas is now making city specific running sneakers that account for differences in terrain using feedback and data from runners around the world. So you could get sneakers like the Detroit edition because they know what the terrain is like in Detroit. Now that's really interesting. That seems like something out of a movie or something, like very high tech and fancy. Google search knows where you are, even if you disable location history. It's a ripoff. Oh, those gym shoes? Sonia C says they're a ripoff. So you think you being, slick or savvy or sophisticated, like, I don't want Google to know who I am. So I'm going to disable my location search. And Google still knows where you are, which is actually not a surprise because a lot of times these cameras, you can like stuff up like on your phone, on your TV, on your refrigerator. A lot of these Wi-Fi gives away location. Wi-Fi gives away location. A lot of these devices that are supposed to be like smart devices, like your refrigerator and stuff you're not even thinking about, have cameras and recording devices and stuff in them. I read an article probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Somebody had a smart TV and they were a little sophisticated, always listening, like Alexa. They were a little sophisticated. So when they set up their smart TV, they told the camera, exactly, Sonia. They told the TV when they were programming it, like, I don't want you, shut off the camera, shut off this, shut off this. Shut off that, shut off. Well, they knew how to set it up to shut off certain stuff. And so at some point they had an issue with and Siri. At some point they had, and your phone, you know. At some point this person had an issue with their TV, and so they had gotten like an error report or something, and the stuff that was supposed to be shut off wasn't shut off, or it was recording even though it was shut off, you know. And like, and we've been seeing these stories where, Alexa is cutting on and, sending emails or sending recordings of your conversation to people. And then we had a story the other day of, what was it that did something similar. So it's like we're surrounded by cameras and microphones and smart devices. So no, I'm not surprised that when you say when you think it's disabled, that it's not disabled. I'm not surprised at all. Shoot, they probably be like extra attentive. Like when you disable the stuff, they like, oh, let me see where she is. Alexa never does anything she isn't supposed to be doing. Waiting list for avocado trees amid New Zealand crime wave. Now, I'm not sure what's going on. Are the people stealing avocados in New Zealand? Is that the crime wave? I don't know. Want to grow your own avocados for toast? There's a waiting list. According to garden centers are reporting waiting lists of dozens deep of people who want to grow their own, as prices for a single fruit nudge to around New Zealand $3, which is like $1.95 here per fruit. Earlier this year, price peaked at New Zealand $7 for avocados. I bet you would get a tree and grow your own. I don't eat avocados. People are asking about avocados all day, every day. Maybe when I get growner and more sophisticated, I'll try them because I've never tried them. They're green. I do eat green things, but I don't know. It's something about an avocado that it didn't pass I'm like, it look weird. I'm not eating that. So anyway, everybody want to buy them and it's not enough to go around. Avocado crime wave. High demand seems to fuel the crime wave across New Zealand. Many Americans relocate to New Zealand, Sonia C says. Really? They say, I don't know about New Zealand, but Australia, it's like beachy and sunny. They're not that great, yet they are good for you. People rave about them, how they're buttery and mild and creamy. With local media reporting on thousands of dollars worth of avocados being stripped from trees, both under the cover of night and in broad daylight. Aussies are scary. So anyway, they just out here, hooping and hollering and robbing for these avocados. $7 for one avocado? That's a lot. Because you can get them for like $1 or $3-4. I don't really, them alligator pears are good, says Sonia Sears. Reports Aretha Franklin gravely ill and surrounded by family. So prayers out to Aretha Franklin. I don't know if people knew, but it sounds, a lot of times people bring the family around at certain times. New Zealand has strict immigration policies because so many people seek to live there, says Ayapo Yapa. Who knew? Aretha is dying, y'all. Yeah, that's what I don't know, but I mean, a lot of times when you hear when they call you and they like come on to the hospital, fam, because this is the time. I take my guac with tomatoes. So I'm, that's the way the headlines are making it sound. Red onion, celery, parsley, and cilantro to give the avocado some body. So prayers out to her and her family. 100 influential HBCU alumni. I'm not an alumni of an HBCU. Are you an alumni of an HBCU? She is loved. Yes, she is, Aretha Franklin. When we look at Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black people, in the world who are thriving in certain ways, I don't want to say invariably because it's not exactly every single one of them, but a large percentage of Black folks who are doing well professionally are products of HBCUs. Especially when you look at the doctors, and I think I read an article about doctors. So just, much appreciation to our historically Black colleges and universities, who see students and believe in students and support students and help students to grow and be, their best selves. So yeah, yeah. So I don't know who the 100 influential HBCU alumni are, but you can see it on Moguldom. NAACP president has surprising message for racists who threaten to lynch her. I went to HBCU for a year. Every Black student should go for at least a semester. I went to an HBCU for a summer program, so school wasn't in session. But what was interesting is at my college, we had something called Beau Parlor. And at some point, I was like, oh, Beau, like a boyfriend. This is where the men used to come when they would visit. I went to an all women's college. This is where the men would come when they would visit in the dorm. They weren't allowed in the rooms. The only rule that was going on when I was there is that once your guest signed in, they couldn't stay more than 3 days. But that was really just a technicality in case your roommate complained. If your roommate didn't complain, they could come and they could stay in your room indefinitely. So men was just living in the dorms with the women. Boys was just living in the dorms with the girls. And I had graduated from college. I was a semester, I had just graduated from college, and I went to this HBU, Shaw University, where the sit downs, some of the early sit downs were. Dang, I can't remember the name of the organization, but it was founded there. And we had hot tail gals. Yep. And even with me as a fully grown woman who was a college graduate, I was not allowed to have men visit me in my room. So they didn't have, it wasn't called Beau Parlor. They ain't have nothing. You had to see them outside or in the cafeteria. Don't even have them come visit the dorms. I was like, wow, that's deep. It's so different. So yeah, that's my experience with HBCUs. So the NAACP president has surprising message for racists who threaten to lynch her. I would tell him I love him. We the lovingest folks. We the lovingest folks. Yeah, I don't think that would be my message for somebody who threatened to lynch me, but I don't know. That's coming off the Griot if you want to read the story. Outrage after police handcuff 11-year-old boy for bouncing ball at basketball game. I have no idea what the story is about. It sounds really, really ridiculous in the headlines. The child is at a basketball game and he's bouncing a ball, and so we put him in handcuffs. Now, I don't know if he was on the sidelines being a distraction, but surely there's an easier way to manage an 11-year-old boy, an 11-year-old child when you're an adult than handcuffing them. Yes, yes. But anyway, that's coming off the Griot. So, prayers out to the spirit of that 11-year-old child and to all children who have been criminalized, children and adults who have been criminalized, that the vibration that's set off in us is one of rising up against injustice and rising up against bullshit and seeing bullshit for what bullshit is. So, may that child's spirit may that child have clarity and insight and wisdom and, be able to analyze that system and that mess for the mess that it is. Another Atlanta restaurant called Solis Overdrive Lounge accused of discriminatory behavior. I think I might have skimmed the thing, but I can't remember what it was. But it's some Black people eating at some restaurant and they treating Black people like boo-boo, causing trouble and drama, according to the story. It's coming off of straightfromtheA.com, which is a blog. So if you want to read that story, I'm sure it'll be in other places, but that's where I put it from. Solar powered aircraft. Solar-powered aircraft stays aloft for record-breaking 25 days. A solar-powered aircraft in 25 days, that's a long time. The longest I've ever been up in the airplane is like 18, maybe 18 hours, maybe 13, but I'm just saying 25 days is a long time. I mean, you could get all over the world on the solar-powered aircraft. That's coming off of Engadget.com. Racist man calls pregnant Black woman N-word on video and gets fired from medical center. You're an NIGGER. Shut up. I guess in Not News Today, and then we're just so shocked and appalled. That's coming off the grill if you want to read the story. South Korean woman jailed over secret nude model photo. What's good? Oh, that the man got fired from the medical center. Okay. Yeah. I feel like he just got jumped into his KKK gang. Now they're gonna take care of him. They like you us, brother. Yes. Netflix's CFO, Chief Financial Officer, for the last 8 years is stepping down. At first, I didn't read the CFO. She must look real bad in that photo. No, I think they were the Korean woman who was jailed over a secret nude model photo. Like, your picture is so, you took such a bad picture, I'm putting your behind in jail. This is a terrible picture. This person looked bad. I think it has to do with like nudity and like taking nude photos. Um, I did skim the article, but I don't remember. John David Washington says men in KKK hoods. Y'all, I just had to kill a mosquito. A mosquito was on my arm. I don't think I've been attacked by a mosquito all year. I just had a mosquito on my arm. John David Washington says men in KKK hoods made him nervous filming Black Klansman. That's the Spike Lee film. So I guess his fellow actors or whatever had on hoods. And then I guess once they have the hoods on, it's kind of like, are they acting or are they for real? I don't know. And it would make me nervous too. You know, I like the idea of like a murder mystery. Mosquitoes flock to me. I used to have mosquitoes flock to me. It used to be like, I'd be like, these mosquitoes are so bad. And everybody else would be like, what mosquitoes? And I'd be like bit up. But I didn't know, I wasn't even thinking that my chemistry had changed. I was thinking that there just weren't very many mosquitoes. Like, I like the idea of like a murder mystery, you know, little dinner thing, like the murder mystery train ride thing. It seems like fun to me, except for I always feel nervous. Like, what if I'm on the murder mystery train ride and somebody gets murdered and I'm like, ha ha ha, it's part of the mystery, let's solve it. But it's like a real murder. And what if I'm one who gets murdered and everybody thinks it's just part of the show and nobody is concerned because I got murdered? So I would feel like a way, like if you have on your KKK hood, is it going to be acting? Like, are you going to be acting like you going, you know, like you the KKK? And then all of a sudden my behind is hung up from a tree and it's like everybody it's not funny. They made a movie about that. So yeah, I don't know who is John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son? Did he say he don't want to be associated as Denzel Washington's son? He just wants to be himself. He want to be who he is. A nearly cashless Zimbabwe tests the limits of mobile money. So I didn't know that Zimbabwe was nearly cashless. They're like a cashless society. I guess back in the times when people bartered and stuff, you had cashless societies. Cashless societies make me a little nervous because I'm like, what if something happens to my card? I like money, even though I guess you can lose money, but it's like, remember, it was some movie that I can't remember what the movie was, but they were like, the bad guys went after, I think Sandra Bullock was in the movie, and they went after her, and it was like they changed her ID, like they changed her picture. Like if you went to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, the picture they changed, they put a different name up there. They took money out of her account. She was broke. They were doing all these things digitally because they were bad guys. That was like the premise or something of the movie. I can't remember, but it was like everything was digital and they could control it from the computer and just jack her up. YouTube, I guess you'd be robbing for their pen. Right. Or for their cards. They do rob people for their cards. They stick people up and make them take them to the ATM machines or give me your code, and then they just rob you digitally. They don't even rob you in person. My glasses keep slipping down. I think I'm perspiring a little bit on my nose, even though I have the window down for some air. YouTube is reportedly paying creators to promote new features. Nobody's paying me, But these people are getting paid like six figures, I think this article said. They said they're not going to tell you who and how much, but rumor has it they getting like $100,000 to promote. I don't know what they're promoting. We'll see, since a lot of us are YouTube creators. Missing 19-year-old black woman disappeared in Phoenix a week ago without a trace. That's coming off thegrio.com. White, maybe? Yeah, I'm sure they're white. Do we even have to say that? I know it ain't me, but I mean, I'm not a big YouTuber, but so prayers out to this child, this young woman who disappeared. Dang. Oh, here it is. This 19-year-old who disappeared without a trace. Prayers out that she'll be found. You're big to us. Prayers out that she'll be found, and that, her spirit and body and emotions will be intact, and just, prayers of protection for her and peace for her family. And anyone who's missing, prayers out to all of the people who have disappeared with a trace or without a trace, that, everybody gets peace in the situation in terms of their family, and that we can, people are as safe as we can be. You could see more big names shill for memberships and paid chat options. YouTube is paying some of its top creators up to six figures to use and promote features like subscriptions, and pinned comments in chat, according to Bloomberg. The report doesn't identify the creators. The terms of their deals aren't public, and they don't want to risk YouTube's ire. But given the sums involved, it's a safe bet several of the platform's biggest names are receiving the payments. Some creators have been unhappy over the limited methods through which they can earn a living from YouTube. And many are worried the ads will disappear from their videos even when they've done little wrong. Rivals like Facebook and Instagram, which recently released a long-form video app. Isn't Facebook and Instagram the same company? And others have for years tried to lure away big names, and YouTube has a history of paying to keep its stars on board. In a bid to keep creators happy, YouTube has recently added more ways for them to make money, such as a merch program like t-shirts and caps, letting viewers pay to pin comments on top of the live chat. That's Super Chat, and making Twitch-style paid memberships more widely available. Okay. I don't even know why I read that story. Now that I think about it, like, it's not even relevant for me. Or is it? It might be relevant for you. Let me not be. Okay. An 11-year-old was able to, an 11-year-old, like somebody who was 10 last year, who's 11 years old now, was able to hack Florida election results in less than 10 minutes. A pregnant woman says she was accused of shoplifting at Staples by a store manager who reportedly suspected bullets under her shirt. She said she was kind of like surprised. Look how red my hair looks. She said she was like really surprised when the person was like, "What's that under your shirt?" Or when the person was like, "What's that under your shirt?" She heard it like, "What's that under your shirt?" And she was like, "Twins," because she's pregnant. But they thought she was like stealing stuff. And she's black. Very big to me. You talking about I'm a big YouTube star? I know. It's funny how, I think of like the YouTube people that I really like and that I watch on YouTube, and like, it doesn't matter like how many other people watch them or like them. It's like, I like them and I watch them, and they're like, they make my life better and I enjoy them, and they're special to me and they're important to me. I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. Like if somebody has 5 viewers or 5 million viewers, if I like them, I like them. And if I don't, I don't. The number of viewers doesn't really, it doesn't really sway me, but I guess it whatever. This tool lets you bequeath your Google account to a trusted person when you die, and here's how to set it up. I don't have anything like that set up, but I know some people who have made their transition on YouTube, on who have made their transition. And when I used to be on Facebook, you could see how the accounts were being managed. Like I can't even remember, but it was like somehow you could tell that some of the accounts, the people had made their transition. And then some of the accounts you couldn't tell. So maybe they didn't, give permission. I don't really know how that works. But you can, so are you going to will your Google account to somebody? So if you make your transition, the people can go in, bequeath, like the people can go in and be like, Angela made her transition on this day, y'all, prayers out. This is a legacy account for Angela. She's no longer with us in body, but she's with us in spirit. So you're not, sending like invitations like, hey, Angela, come to this event. And then Angela never respond because Angela's made her transition. Hell no. You got to bequeath something to somebody, right? Glacier National Park is burning amid a record heat wave, sparking evacuations. I've been to Glacier National Park. I don't remember when, but I've been there. Because I didn't even know, like, we have a whole big national park system. And I'm like, Glacier National Park? Whoever heard of Glacier? Facebook is your tombstone. Whoever heard of Glacier National Park? When I went, I'm like, whoever heard of it? But it's a whole bunch of national parks, not just Yellowstone. Glacier in Montana. Oh, that's when I went to the Salish Kootenai reservation for Native American and their women conference. So there's Yellowstone National Park. There's the Grand Canyon National Park. But there's like a whole bunch of national parks. It's not just like 2 or 3. It's a whole bunch. It's a lot. It's a lot of national parks. So Glacier National Park is burning amid a record heat wave, sparking evacuations. Democrats view socialism. I want to see Yellowstone. Yeah, me too. Democrats view socialism more positively than capitalism now, and it could signify a major shift for the party. I'm not a big fan of capitalism because you got to capitalize off of somebody. Mount Helena will blow soon too. You got to capitalize off of somebody, and it's always like me and mine. I'm like, I don't like this capitalizing off of me and mine. And I don't want to be out here capitalizing off of anybody, taking advantage of anybody. Ayapo Yapa says, I don't like capitalism. Why Jakarta is one of the world's fastest sinking. I'm not a big fan of socialism neither. Oh, well, I think that would be an interesting conversation. Like, because like socialism and communism are kind of conflated in my head. Like, I probably need to do like more research and study. I'm massaging my brain so I can be receptive to learning some new things. So Jakarta is one of the world's fastest sinking megacities. So are megacities sinking? Are cities sinking? And Jakarta is just like the fastest sinking, but it's a whole bunch of other ones that are sinking too. Marxism is different from communism. Jakarta is in Indonesia. We done seen a couple of volcanoes, earthquakes. We've seen a couple of natural disasters here within the last few weeks in Indonesia. And I think Jakarta is in Indonesia too. Dozens of kids hack election site replicas in just minutes. So I think that's like a different headline for the same headline I read a minute ago, where I was like, the 11-year-old hacked the stuff in 10 minutes. I think this is the same thing, but this is coming off of Engadget. Texas college student's night in jail turns her into social media sensation. Mugshot Bay. She said she had just finished doing a makeup tutorial. So her face was, now I didn't particularly care for makeup. She's a cute girl. She's an attractive young woman. But I didn't particularly, she had like this red over her eyes. I didn't feel like the blending was really strong, but I don't know. But when she took she's beautiful. When she took her mugshot, she definitely looked like, yes. She was sitting out in her car waiting for her friends, and the cops came and said something, and then they said they smelled marijuana, and they found 2 grams on her. And it matched the jumpsuit. Oh, it matched the jumpsuit. So is that what we're doing now? Are we matching our makeup to our outfits? Our eyeshadow to our outfits? I sometimes do that, although technically you're not supposed to do that. That's supposed to be very old-fashioned. But I do what I want to do. I do what makes me feel happy and what I enjoy. And she said when people first started like reaching out to her, like, "Oh, you're cute," that she was like, "Oh, it's not me. I didn't get arrested." Jail orange. Oh, that kind of That kind of jumpsuit, says Sonia sees jail orange. Um, but she said since then she's gotten like offers to do like as a makeup artist and stuff like that. So it's good. I didn't like the makeup, but I ain't got no job for it anyway. So the people who had a job for her, they like what she was doing. So we got claps for Mugshot Bay. And apparently, I guess they do this all over the place. They look for attractive male mug shots and promote them. Okay, so I had 4 claps for Mugshot Bay. The police harassed her and falsely arrested her, talking about they smelled marijuana. I don't know if they smelled it or not, but it's always some of our people. She is not a criminal though. There's always some of our people that they saying they smell marijuana on because you look black and they figured they could just arrest you. So, if she getting money and she getting a job and she getting exposure, may she be sober about it. May this opportunity help to build her and help to build her family and her community and be a blessing for us all. The African footballers changing the game in India. Football as in soccer. So I don't know what they have, some special technique that African footballers do, and they doing it in India, and it's like all the rage. So yeah, that's coming off of the BBC if you're into soccer and curious. Why Jakarta? Oh, we talked about that. Letter from Africa. Heroes and villains of Nigerians parliament siege. People came into parliament with the guns, and the people didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if it was a coup. They didn't know if it was for effect. They didn't know if it was politics. It might have been in Nigeria, but apparently there's some staff. It might have been in Nigeria, but it might have been in some other country in Al-Kibalan or community. There's a staff, and if the staff is not in the legislative room, then you can't do no business. And so some people came in and they took the staff, like, oh, y'all not doing any government business because we got the staff and we holding the staff hostage. I don't know if I'm conflating 2 stories or if this is the same story, but the people was coming in with guns, but it didn't seem like it was like really a coup. It was, so they didn't, some people are like, we don't know if it was for effect or what's going on. So I don't know what's going on in Nigeria. You know what's going on? You heard anything? You got update? A new look at radical disparities in police use of deadly force. This is coming off of Moguldom. So I'm wondering what's new, because it seems like it's the same old story. Get it together, Nigeria, says Sonia Sees. It seems like it's the same old story, that there are racial disparities in police force of police use of deadly force. So is this new look is it like gonna say, oops, we're wrong? Actually, the police beat down and killed white. I mean, what are they gonna tell us? I don't know. I didn't read the article, but I'm like, what's the new part? Jurors, you can read it on Moguldom. Jurors grant $289 million verdict to man they believe got terminal cancer from Monsanto's Roundup. Oh, we all getting cancer from Monsanto's Roundup. It's all around here. These Monsanto products, this Super Grow. What is this stuff called you put on? Miracle Grow. All of these chemicals and stuff in the lawn to kill the dandelions. The stuff that's all of this stuff. Did I say we all getting cancer? I didn't mean that. We are strong and fit and healthy. $289 million. I kind of feel like if I had cancer, you never really know why you keep getting sick. Roundup. I kind of feel like if I had cancer and you gave me $289 million, I don't know how I still kind of can't like make peace with, does the money make, am I better now that I have this money? Am I like, hey, I got cancer, but it's cool because I got $289 million? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, how much money, if somebody was like, look, I'm going to give you cancer, but I'm going to give you some money. Now, how much money I got to give you cancer? How much money would I take for someone to give me cancer? Can we sue the government for spraying chemicals in the air, says IC? Right. When I lived down in Mississippi, they would spray, stick it to the man, toppling Monsanto, says IC. Just make good use for the others with that money before you transition. Right. When I was down south, sometimes you'd be sitting and on the porch, they had these trucks that go and they spray mosquito repellent. That's what it's supposed to be. It's a chemical. And you can just see the smoke coming out behind the truck. And I would, whenever I would see it, I would like hide from it and try to get out of the pathway of it. But it's not like I wasn't still exposed to the chemicals, but it's just like a symbolic thing. I was like, God, I'm trying to do what I can do because I don't know what else to do. But I mean, they say that they drop stuff from the air on us, you know, from the sky. It's intense. So they're going to have a class action suit soon. The gentleman's case paved the way for others to get compensation. Miss Legal Eagle. Marshawn Lynch kicks off Raiders preseason by sitting during national anthem. So the preseason for football has started, and it seemed like the kneeling, the protests have continued, are ongoing. I don't know if they're getting less. I don't know if they're getting more. Monsanto needs to be taken down, says Sonia Sees. I don't know what's going on with them. And I don't know if our consciousness is being raised by, you know, the conversation that these athletes are, you know, kind of starting around certain issues or keeping going around certain issues, amplifying around certain issues. But I do kind of feel like I'm not a fan of NFL cooning, says Sonia Sees. I'm not a fan of the apolitical athlete. I'm a fan of an athlete who's like, yeah, I'm black and these are my people and I'm doing something. I'm saying something. You know, the one guy who wore the tie that had the names of the people who had been executed by police on it to the Hall of Fame ceremony. I feel like I'm here. I figure any step along the path of being more political, any step along the path of being more conscious, I'm here for it. And I'm like here for like pushing people like, yes, big up, brother, do more, and push you further along the path. That's what I'm here for. Yep, that's what I'm here for. So I don't know who Marshawn Lynch is. The name sounds familiar. I don't know who he is. Black Republican congressional candidate shocks Florida GOP, referring to her opponent as an old white man. Paul Robeson, Ali, Ashe were all political. Was that Sonia Sees who said that? So, I don't know. To call somebody an old white man, if they're an old white man, is that like really shocking? Arthur Ashe. Oh, Ashe, not Ashe. It doesn't really seem like an insult to me. I remember when I first worked with kids and I would say like white people, and some of the young people would be like, Miss, don't say white people. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to say? They're like, that's not polite, Miss. Don't say that. And I'm like, I don't understand. So I feel like if someone is an old white man, now I don't know, maybe old is kind of because somebody could be like, you're an old woman. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you. Like what they say, they were shocked. Shocked. I would be shocked if somebody called me old. But to some people, I'm old. I mean, I'm just saying. So I don't know. It ain't like she called him a Nigger, and there's not even a word that's a corollary to that. Like what, like saying somebody is an old white man, like, okay. He probably 70 years old and white and a man. I mean, where's the insult? Do we detect lies? I mean, what's going on? You got that gray hair. Right, I'm old. I mean, I don't think I'd really be shocked. I was telling somebody, I might have told y'all, that there are two groups that I do like theater stuff for. And in one group, most of the people are younger than me. And I always get cast in mother roles. And in another group, a lot of the people are older than me. And I always get cast as like the young chickadee. So it's just perspective. The Common App drops question about past convictions on college applications. So I guess there's this one, like when I was growing up, if you wanted to apply to 20 colleges, you filled out 20 different applications. At some point, they came up with this thing called the Common App, like where a lot of schools, if you just fill it out once and you could go to a whole bunch of different schools, the same application. So you don't have to be doing 20 or 5 or whatever different applications. So I guess they had a question on there about past convictions. So they're saying this is the griot, but they're saying, by the Common App dropping that question, then it's going to make it better for Black students, because proportionately more Black students have had some conviction. And by them asking that question, and then you have an answer or lie or tell the truth or whatever, it like colors their perception of you, and not in a positive way. Exposed. Woman secretly attending job fair gets outed by local news. This woman was on her lunch break, and she went to a job fair on her lunch break. And so when the story came on the news, they had like a shot of her filling out an application. And she hadn't told her people that she was looking for work. Because a lot of times when you're looking for work, you don't tell the people that you work with or for or whatever that you're looking for work. And so she said they ain't said nothing to her yet, so she ain't gonna say nothing to them. But somebody called her and like, you looking good on at the job fair. And she like, what? So she had changed out her scrubs, put on her interview thing, went to try to get her a job, and she got exposed. You say, so what, Sonya sees? I know some of these jobs feel like, because I've had people who had that thing, they feel like once you work for them, then it's almost like they own you. Like you can't have a part-time job, you can't moonlight, you can't have a business. Even the idea of moonlighting, it's like you're doing, but yeah, so I don't know. I mean, she can look for another job if she wants. Georgia teen's letter to God lands in the hands of a minister who answers her prayers. This is coming off the griot, so I guess it's Black. It was kind of surprising to me. Now I could see in a way symbolically and ritually writing a letter to God, like when you don't know what to do, like almost your journal, like, Lord, blah, 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 blah. And maybe some people have a regular practice of writing to God. But surely by the time you're a teenager, it's not like writing to Santa Claus when you're 5 or 7, But I could see that as like a prayer practice. Oh, that's a fake story? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know anything about it. Aesop, the original Black storyteller of moral fables. Black folks, the whole story sounds fake to me. Well, it's coming off the griot. I didn't read the story, just the headline. So just thinking about, when people talk about a calcified pineal gland and like where people are morally, and like when you're like an older people, you've had an opportunity to develop, emotionally and spiritually as a collective, not just as individuals. And so, a lot of things that are a part of your culture might reflect that maturity. So Aesop might be one of the things that reflects that. Daycare worker receives an 11-month sentence for leaving toddler in a hot car death. So I guess the daycare worker left the child in a hot car, an 11-month-old. I feel like I don't know what kind of training daycare workers get, and I don't know if you need like advanced training to know not to leave a child in a car. A hot car. So prayers out to the family who lost the child and to the community who lost the child. Poor baby. Any fool knows not to, right? You don't need any advanced training. So an 11-month sentence does not. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you leave somebody in jail for 11 years, it's still not going to bring the baby back. For 100 years, it's still not going to bring the baby back. So just, prayers out to everybody. It's coming off the griot. So again, I'm assuming that the child and or the worker were Black. Woman faces multiple charges after running naked down road with child during storm. This is coming off the griot as well. The headline just seems so rich to me. They made it so hard for me to adopt, I gave up. Wow. So I don't know what she's being charged with. Is she being charged with running naked? Is she being charged with being naked, with running naked down the road with the child? Why is she running naked down the road with the child in the storm? Like, what's going on? I don't know. I mean, the headline it's just like, what? It's coming off of the griot. I didn't read it, but it's just like, bong, bong. Like, I couldn't really get like a good beat on what's going on. In pictures, Portugal's lingering influence in Zanzibar. So I don't know if Zanzibar is one of those places in Alkebulan that was colonized by Portugal. There's a sign something is wrong. She's in danger. Right, says Sonia C's. Right, said Sonia C said that, and I agree. Teaching children to surf Liberia's wild waves. So maybe they're trying to like develop an industry in Liberia, like come surf our wild waves, and they're teaching. I don't know what the story is. Zanzibar, Arab slave port. So was Portugal involved with that, or just Arab folks? France's 25-year treasure hunt for a golden owl. Is this Peruvian city the most polluted on Earth? I don't know. What city in the mountain girls making bras for Europe's chests. So I think this is like in Eastern Europe, these people make bras, like these bra factories, like who makes bras? I don't even know what companies make bras. Warner, that's a big bra company. So I guess they make them in Eastern Europe. The people get paid. It sounds like, according to the story, the pay is not very good. They have a bra story. Ayapo. Sonia C says, listen closely, Ayapo. We're talking about bras. So I guess it seemed like the girls, the young women or whatever, were not. I'm way ahead of you. Are not being well paid. They have like a high turnover and all of this other stuff. So Fallout 76 deals with trolls by making them part of the game. So I guess Fallout 76 is some video game, and I guess you can troll people on video games. I don't really understand these video games, but I guess they have these video games where groups of people play them together. Maybe it's similar to like going on a YouTube chat, except for it's a game. I don't really know how it works. But now when trolls are on this game, you can get extra points for killing the trolls or something like that. So anyway, Fallout 76. The all-new Ghana-made G-Wagon auto debuts. So has anybody heard? I've never played a video game. They are dangerous, says Sonia C's. Has anybody heard of the all-new Ghana-made G-Wagon auto? I've never. Oh, that's okay. Has anybody heard of it? Y'all know about it? This is coming off of Moguldom. Oh, I don't like this story. I mean this site, because it's this thing. This on the edge here, it stays the whole time you're trying to read the article, and it's kind of hard to read. Though it may not look like it from the outside, the Kantanka Okatai made in Ghana has undergone a huge transformation to something about a G-Wagon. The car is the latest to be assembled by Dr. Somebody, whose Kantanka vehicles are catching something both home and abroad. Kantanka, have you heard of Kantanka? That's a Ghanaian car. Kantanka. 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 It started as a basic electronics company, but now it's morphed into a highly profitable and luxury SUV. It has a bright headlight with a boldly inscribed Kantanka Okataki embedded in the Kantanka crown. It has a 1.5 engine capacity with 2 front tires and 1 on the back. Tires spelled Tyres. The Ghanaian automobile company has just revealed the Okataki, and it's getting the biggest update in its history. This new model includes a radical new look for the exterior, has the ability to withstand harsh roads. I was trying to get an image here, but I don't see an image. They're just showing us like road traffic, but that don't tell us nothing about the car. So anyway, Kantanka, check it out. Get you a Kantanka. We African people, we should have African cars. Indonesia plane crash. Boy 12 survives paw accident. So there was a plane crash in Indonesia. We were talking about Indonesia today when we were saying Jakarta is sinking, and it's Jakarta in Indonesia. And then Indonesia has had these two earthquakes or some kind of natural disasters within the last couple weeks. So what's going on in Indonesia? Do you fancy Greek life? Cat care in the bargain. So there's some sort of cat sanctuary, and you could go and, or I guess you could apply. You can't. We don't know if you could go or not. But if you apply and you get accepted, you could go and run the cat sanctuary in Greece. It has 55 feline friends. It was posted on the advert has been posted on Facebook. It's been shared 20,000 times. 200 people have emailed the sanctuary over the ad. She's looking for somebody over the age of 45 who is not only capable of loving the cats, it sounds like a catastrophe, but knows how to trap or handle a feral or non-sociable cat. I guess if you got 55 cats, some of them are going to be feral and non-sociable. 55 is a lot of daggone cats. That means knowledge of cat psychology as well as good cat whispering skills. Oh, they're talking about other dream jobs. You could be a Nutella taster in Italy. I don't like Nutella because I don't like hazelnut at all. Previous experience not necessary. You could be a warden on a picturesque Welsh island. Who wants to be a warden, like in a jail? Okay, so yeah. Dang, I wish that the oven, that the vegetables could already be in the oven roasting so they could be ready. More than monuments, how African American landmarks can serve as healing spaces in the wake of Charlottesville. Now that was interesting to me because I think that there are some places that like have a legacy or a history of like pain and like creating distress. And some spaces that we're in, it's like they hurt us. You know, it doesn't feel it to be in them. It's like bad spaces for us. Are those crickets making all that noise? Have they been going on for a while? I think I'm probably almost finished. But some places are like healing spaces. Like a lot of times, sometimes in the past or even now, like when I'm at the Charles H. Wright Museum, I feel like now this is a healing space for Black people. This is like a space where, you know, some positive things are going on, where we can be free to be who we are and we can be celebrated and we can tell the truth. Yep, you saying they just started? And look how dark it got all of a sudden. Very noisy. Okay, I'm going to try to hurry up. So just thinking about healing spaces, and are you yourself a healing space? When people get your energy and your vibration close to you, are you like a healing space for other Black folks? How can you be more of a healing space? You have a healing vibration to help us to be better. All I see is these lights right here. I don't see any lights overhead. I see the lights up here in front. Okay. What the US needs to help protect the power grid from Russian hacks. I don't know if you remember about like 10, 12 years ago, there was like a big outage in Detroit. They've been going at it for some time now. I just noticed them all of a sudden. Yeah. I turned on the lights, Ayako, right in front of me overhead, but it's just not a lot of light. Okay. Um, okay. Um, it was like about 10 or 12 years ago, and the power went out in Detroit, but it was like all over a certain area. And I've always thought that that was hacked. It was like for maybe for 2 days or something. I can't remember now because it seemed like it was 2 or 3 days. Okay, so they talking about protecting the power grid from Russian hack. How the power grid is very vulnerable. The power grids. Arms depot blast in Syria's Idlib province kills 39. Monitor. The vegetables. I'm thinking about food because I'm starting to get hungry. String beans, Brussels sprouts, cherry tomatoes, any vegetables. I like all vegetables. Onions. I like them roasted. Um, okay. Arms depot blast in Syria's Idlib province kills 39. So prayers out to the people who made their transition in that Arms Depot blast. It's so much this region of the world. It's just so many. You just hear about large groups of people, 10 people, 40 people, 20 people, 17 people just dying in mass all at once. Taliban attack on Afghan city of Ghazni rages for third day. So prayers out to those people. Baltimore cop suspended after brutal attack on unarmed man in viral video. That's another one of these, you know, I guess now we have videos of these attacks and stuff going on, but they've been going on. The Marines are preparing for a potential big ass fight. Cherry tomatoes is a fruit, but I like it roasted in the oven with my vegetables. I mean, I just do. Um, sometimes I'll just eat them raw, but I like them roasted too. Oh, I have some cucumbers. I like to eat. Tomatoes are fruit. I like to eat cucumbers. Speaking of fruit, I like to eat cucumbers and tomatoes together. They're delicious. The Marines are preparing for a potential, quote, big ass fight, and they may be spending more time in Alaska, says Feed Proxy Google. They got big ass fight in the headline. We could say big ass fight. I don't know what's up with the Marines and who the fight is preparing against. It seems like the U.S. is always fighting with somebody. I like salt, pepper, garlic, butter on my veggies. Yeah, I like a little olive oil, some season, like whatever. Like if I have Italian seasoning, I put that on there. If I have Mrs. Dash, or like now at Aldi, I get the generic Mrs. Dash from Aldi. I have some like chili and lime spice from Trader Joe. I'll throw that on some roasted vegetables. Ooh, I like my veggies raw. Ooh, I like cucumbers raw. Cucumbers and tomatoes. What other vegetables do I eat raw? I like a good raw salad. I mean, The theft of an empty plane from SeaTac Airport highlights one of the biggest potential perils for commercial air travel. Airline or airport employees causing mayhem. So this person who wasn't a pilot took a plane and then they drove it someplace, and I don't know what happened. An empty plane. You got those good choppers. I sees, says Sonia sees. I see says she like her veggies raw. I like it raw. It's like how gray I look right here. Add some red onion, a little red wine vinegar to your tomatoes and cucumbers, and salt and pepper. Yeah. I don't like raw onions very much, and I don't do vinegar. But I grew up with my grandmother and my cousins and everything. They do vinegar on cucumber, so I know it's like a very like popular, and a lot of people do peppers. Oh, salt and pepper, vinegar and cucumbers is good. Yeah, I know a lot of people like that. My cousin used to look. My lips look, they look white now. My cousin used to eat is this gloss, which I used to love, this cream and sugar, but the lipstick I got on under it is, I like beets. I've never gotten into beets. I'm scared of beets. They're supposed to be really, really good for you and really wholesome. Raw, roasted beets are supposed to be really, really good for you. So I don't know. The employee done took the plane and flew it someplace, and I don't know what happened. I think it's gonna show up earlier. The airline employee who stole a plane from the Seattle airport and fatally crashed, so he did not make it out alive. onto a small island was not a licensed pilot. But they're like, they don't even know how he was able to start the plane, because I guess it's very complicated to start a plane. It's not like a car, like, oh, just put your key in and go. It's like some levers and some specific things that you need to do. But he could probably learn that off of a YouTube video or out of a book. I don't know. Killer whale mother finally lets dead newborn calf go after 17 days. So this mother lost her baby. It's a whale. They call it a killer whale. And she'd been dealing with the grief and mourning the baby for 17 days, which to me doesn't seem like that long. I'm sure it's going to continue to mourn in other ways, but it shows you how the animals are feeling a way, how some animals feel a way also about death and feel sad, like, oh my gosh, my baby died and I don't want to let my baby go, you know? Once it starts, it escalates. Crime is rising in Sonia C says animals feel. I believe so too. Once it starts, it escalates. Crime is rising in Mexico City, and police are trying to swoop down on it before it gets worse. And they say that they are literally in airplanes with masks on and guns. The police like driving around, like flying around in helicopters. And I think helicopters, not airplanes, like over the city. Can you imagine looking up and it's like people with masks on and guns over you, like flying overhead? Crime in Mexico, really? Well, they're saying that a lot of the crime in Mexico has been like not really so much in big places like Mexico City, which I think is one of the biggest cities in the world, but it's been like in smaller places. Damn, Fukushima says, I sees. Crime in Mexico, really, says Sonia sees. I see, Sonia sees. So they're saying that this stuff happening in thousands of beheadings in Mexico City is unusual because they haven't had that type of crime in the city proper. I studied elephant brain structures, and here's what makes them so special. So this article was saying that, we're like, oh, elephants are special because, they have communities and they have this and they have that. But they're like, their brains are actually special. So, when you study their brains, you can see that elephants are special. I think probably a lot of animals, are special. And I don't even want to say special like that, but I just think we don't give animals credit, other animals other than the human animal credit, for being worth anything or about anything or having any feelings or having any intelligence or having anything other than instinct. But that's it. That's the end of the news feed. So drop in the comments again in terms of what's new and good and exciting in your life. And then also, if you drop that in already, because we love to share good news here, any exciting animals can teach us a lot about human nature, says Sonia sees. Any exciting upbeat stories that we missed, drop those in the news feed. We love to share the good news. We love good news. You can't go. I'm about to go. I can go. About to go. And then anything that you're looking forward to, anything that you're excited about, drop that in the news feed. Not in the news feed, in the comments. Thank you. Thank you, Sonia sees. I appreciate you for being here, Sonia, and I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate that, for the comments. It's on purpose that we're here. For subscribing, if you're a brand new subscriber, welcome. It's on purpose that we're here together, whether you're here on the live feed or we're here together virtually. I'm looking forward to finding a home sweet home. Oh, that's beautiful. Home is so important. So prayers out to Miss Sonia as she is looking for and finding a home sweet home, a beautiful, comfortable, healing space where she's secure and happy, and it's beautiful and stimulating and nurturing and all of those wonderful things. Yeah, so it's on purpose that we're here together, and I appreciate you. We appreciate each other. Habaragani, Umoja, unity. We all one. We in this together. I need stimulation. We in this together. It's we. It's I and I. It's you and I. So it's time to wind down. It's the wind down. We about to let this go. Let the crickets have it. We're not gonna fight with the crickets anymore. But you don't have to. It's getting dark out there. Yeah, it's been dark. You don't have to leave channel Be Fabulous You. You can you can stay on this channel. You don't have to leave YouTube, but you are gonna have to get up out of here. So say your goodbyes, people. Say your goodbyes.
Be you.
Prayers for Sonia.
Hey.
Hey, hey. Thank you, Ayapo. Another great broadcast.
Be fabulous.
Be fabulous, you. Thank you, ICs. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Look at my shoulders. Who you gonna be? You ain't you. You see how they floopy? If we ain't we, who you gonna be? If you ain't you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Peace. Bye. Love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Peace.